Oh, Tashidele, hello everyone. I hope everyone doing fine. And welcome back to the Lojong session. Before we start the teaching, we will do a short practice together, as like in the last week, especially dedicating to those beings who are suffering from natural disasters and pandemic and any form of diseases and the sufferings that are going around in the world. As you all know, there's great fire crisis happening. Just heard of great earthquake has happened. Many people have died. Then flood, etc. So we collectively come together with this pure spiritual energy that we all carry on the basis of pure samaya. So that way, definitely, our prayer is going to be so helpful. So before doing that, set up a positive motivation, altruistic motivation, on the basis of proper refuge in Guru Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Sangye Jodang Zoje Jonala Janju Bado Dani Jazunje Dagi Jinzo Jebe Sonamje Rola Benje Sangye Drubara Sangye Jodang Zoje Jonala Janju Bado Dani Jazunje Dagi Jinzo Jebe Sonamje Rola Benje Sangye Drubara Sangye Jodang Zoje Jonala Janju Bado Dani Jazunje Dagi Jinzo Jebe Sonamje Dola benje sanje do barai jo kange do zene zone dawa damje bambe jire dambe june denze be godam de la cha ze lo do ni ni je zon do je be la ma ze je se je kanje de ne ge cha na be mo de ze ja zo so wa de zo da ju jin je lo semje damje dewa da deve ju da demra ju je semje damje dunga da dunga je ju da dawa ju je semje damje dunga me be dewa da me dawa ju je semje damje ni re ja da ni da be da nyo la ne bra ju ro ji semje damje dewa da deve ju da demra ju je semje damje dunga da dunga je ju da dawa ju je semje damje dunga me be dewa da me dawa ju semje damje ni re ja da ni da be da nyo la ne bra ju ro ji semje damje dewa da deve ju da demra ju je semje damje dunga da dunga je ju da dawa ju je semje damje dunga me be dewa da me dawa ju semje damje ni re ja da ni da be da nyo la ne bra ju ro ji. So we will chant, visualize the deities and chant their mantra, then try to channel the the merits and the blessings through the visualize light rays and the nectar that through that frequency. Then in your visualization, those needy beings receive, help, protection, refuge accordingly. So first, Cherry 6 mantra, then Guru Rinpoche's mantra, then Green Tara, Medicine Buddha, and Marichama. No, Jadong Golo Juve Jabodo, Jedo Gava Zamba Zanjedo Gala Gandu de la de Zumba Jere Zela Chaze Lo Om Mani Beme Hon, Om Mani Beme Hon, Om Mani Beme Hon, Om Mani Beme Om Mani Beme Hon, 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 Om Mani Beme Om Mani Beme Hon. Om mani beme hu om ahum bezar guru bema sedi 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 om ahum Om ahum bezar guru bema sedi om dare do dare dure so 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 om dare Om dare do dare dure so om dare do dare dure so ha taya ta om begaze ma begaze raza samoga desu taya ta om begaze ma begaze raza samoga desu taya ta om begaze ma begaze raza samoga desu taya ta om begaze ma taya ta om begaze ma begaze raza samoga desu taya ta om begaze ma begaze raza samoga desu ha om marize ma so om marize ma so om marize ma Om Mare Jama Zo, 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 Om Mare Jama Zo. Om Mare Jama Zo, na Java to the Chiba la Sabe the Dig, Mitch, the Balamich, the Chaja, change it to Jimmy as a sent the village, Chicago, the Jadus. Java de Nudo, the Jama, the Watch Yamale, but de Zala Gobarai Sho. Chanjo sem jorum boje maje panam ti juji jawani mamme baya kone kondo pewa jo toni taware boje maje panam ti juji jawani mamme baya kone kondo pewa jo je taware boje maje panam ti juji jawani mamme baya kone kondo pewa jo pama zimje damje dena den jo jeng ro damje ta do do anda jo samba kana su jo bade ta kunje molan do jo simje ne ba ji ba jo ne re ta jo do ben ne man ta do jo wa me bara jo be na zo mi go be shin do ba da simje ro ba da samba che jen do be da ji sho Okay, thank you. Yeah, so please refer to the text. We are studying the Lojong treatise, the classical text, the great collections of Lojong, where there's so many different texts there. At this stage, we are studying the Peacock neutralizing of poison, the mind training practice, mind training teaching attribute to Dhammarashita. And we are at page 163 if you are using the same kind of volume. Then we are at verse 46. Yeah, so so just to remind you, as I did last session before start this chapter, that some of the wordings can be quite sharp and quite intense and a bit nasty way, and it is just illustration of how seriousness of those transgressions and all of those negativities. Yeah, simply because of simply to illustrate that, how seriousness of this teaching is. So keeping that in mind, so I will read verse 46. So verse 46 is about staying away from negative friends. It's about if you are in that category as a someone who carry the characteristic of characteristic as a negative friend, then one should purify those faults and transform yourself for your own benefit and for others' benefit. If you see any such kind of characteristics in others, then we have to understand, those are, negative friends. Those are, destructive to your spiritual growth, spiritual practice, and we need to isolate ourselves. Indulging with them, indulging, being together with the activities, in particularly physically and verbally, try to isolate because it can influence you negatively. But of course, as a Buddhist practice, any practices for any purposes, our heart cannot give up on any even a single sentient being, even though that sentient being may be your most enemy. Still have to hold very dear into our heart, and we have to dedicate our practice and our prayers, and we need to help them. But physically and verbally, it is needed to stay away. It is also one of the practice after we take refuge in Guru Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Then when we talk about the Sangha, are the virtuous environment or virtuous companions to whom that we should get closer, to them in order to get influence of virtues and dharma benefit. And as far as concerned with those who are against the dharma, those who greatly indulge in negativities, then it's one of the practice of refugees for us to stay away. So like that. So it says, though you may reign with a smile and affability, if you enhance the defilement of those who follow you and become hailed as a chief of those who are faithless, you should be cast into den sealed shut with truth. So those you may so either yourself, you can refer to yourself, or you can refer to someone. In particularly, you have some influence, in particularly that you have the capability to influence others, through your behaviors of your body, speech, and mind, then body, speech, and mind in negatively, then such person, it could be yourself, it could be someone else, even carry a very attractive, facial expressions like smiles, and behave, so helpful in a conventional sense, and so friendly to you. But if that enhance, if it's you, then if that enhance someone's defilement, like such as attachment, aversion, jealousy, etc. Like if you enhance someone to engage more in non-virtues, like such as 10 non-virtues, such as to cause more, such as to cause life of others, such as to let people to lie, such as let people to indulge in sexual misconducts, etc. Or it could be someone that who influence you and who enhance, whenever you are with them, that make you feel comfortable to transgress your vows, make you feel comfortable, make you feel encouraged to steal, to lie, to cause harm to other sentient beings, to indulge in sexual misconducts, etc. Uh, then so such person, could be yourself or could be others. Such person become like your idol. Such person can become like your leader, your example. In particularly that that against your Buddhist belief, that against your precepts, like precepts of observing 10 virtues, their example, and their words and their environment, influence you to, if you are Sangha, then influence you to, give up ropes, give up vows, influence you to give up studying Dharma, influence you to give up, cultivation of meditations, and enhance, you to be more wild in a samsaric life, be careless about karmic law, cause and effect, be careless about your practices. Then such kind of person, such kind of people regard as a negative friend. Such kind of people regard as a harmful to your spiritual development. You see, and such kind of people are regarded as a you see, yes, regarded as a negative friend. So such people, then you should be cast into then and sealed shut with the truth. You should be, you should stay away. Such kind of people, you should stay away for your benefit, for their benefit. You should stay away. Such kind of people, you should cut the relationship. Because virtually it is harmful to you, and you also be part of that negative environment. You also contribute to the enhancement of that person's negativity. So it is harmful for everyone. So therefore you need to disassociate with such kind of person, verbal conversations, physical engagements, as I mentioned before. Then you see, then seal shut with the truth is very much, it's a saying that one should cut the communication. It's very much saying that one should cut the communication, with this kind of people. As I mentioned before, as far as concerned with our heart, in particularly as a Mahayanic practitioner, this kind of people should be the central of our prayers, central of our compassion, and this kind of people is very difficult to, since they are influencing you, it's so difficult for you to influence back with the virtuous way, And similar way, if you are so intense in the negatively influencing other, it's very hard for someone to influence back with the virtues, that intensity of the negativity, you see. So the best way is anyone who come in contact with such people, the initiative to do is physically, verbally, stay away, cast in, like one should be cast into them and still shut with the truth, physically cut the connection, engaging with the person, and verbally, cut the communication. So it's talking about that, you see. Then verse 47, though you may renounce the householder life and enter the order, if like a householder you remain infinite chores, and if you disregard all ethical injunctions, you should certainly be cursed by the wise sages. So it is talking about the Sangha, the monastic practitioners, So even though that you may renounce the lay life, the householder's life, like having children, having business, having wife, having husband, having conventional, empire, businesses, etc., and enter into a renounced monastic life. So renounce from, worldly business, renounce from the ordinary family responsibilities, like take care of wife, take care of husband, take care of children, in our ordinary lay responsibilities, and become a sangha, but then still, even though you become monk or nun, but if like a householder you remain infinite chores, then even after you become a monk or nun, then you still remain extremely busy, managing businesses, then managing or still attached to partners, worse, to have wife, worse to have a husband, worse, to produce children, then of course is already disrupt. But even emotionally, that you have a like very how to say emotional worldly sense of attachment as someone, as your your partner, or it could be your roommate, but then you regard like your partner, or it could be your roommate, but they regard like your like a worldly way of children, like emotionally attached with attachment, then instead of studying the Dharma, contemplating on Dharma, meditating on Dharma, but then being busy, running shops, doing share markets, doing any form of businesses, then if you disregard all ethical injunction, So then that way, there's a very danger of disregarding the Vinaya, Vinaya vows. There's also a danger of, disregarding the monastic, individual monastic vows. If you, once you become sangha, then generally you need to follow the generally you need to follow the Vinaya vows. Then the secondarily, you need to uphold the monastic disciplines. So then, the certain monastery disciplines may not be within the Vinaya discipline, but still, if you are part of that monastery institution, then in that environment, whatever the discipline is ruled, then you cannot disregard them. So if we continue to behave and live a life like a lay people, householders life, even after you become monk, then somewhere somehow there's a danger. It brings more likely and a danger to bring defect to your Vinaya and monastic precepts. So of course you need to learn the Vinaya precepts well. Then you also need to know the monastics rules well. Then on the basis of that, if they are community level kind of monastic ordered jobs, it can be like taking care of businesses, if those are ordered by the monastic committee for individual monks or nuns to do such work, then you won't breach the monastic rules in your particular level. Or if you become like a driver's job, or you may need to run some certain kind of businesses in order to sustain the monastic, the rest of the monastric's needs. In that way, then you won't disregard the monastic aspect of the discipline. But still, the Vinaya precepts, those who are not day to day under the full time, in a monastic discipline, then if you are engaging in a household life, similar like household life, then there's a danger of breaching the Vinaya vows. So Vinaya vows, they are the principal vows, there are secondary vows, there are minor vows. So even though it's quite hard to disregard the major vows or the root vows, but still there are secondary vows. There's a danger of breaching because of engaging in handling of calculation like money, then associating with ordinary lay people. So there are a lot of things to be careful, so like that. So for fully ordained sanghas, 253 vows. Novice is 36 vows. So even just a preordained sangha, 3 things to be abandoned, 3 things to be adopted. So then starting from as long as you are full, as long as you are ordained sangha, nuns or monks, then the 4 root vows has to preserve, more important than your own life, your own heart. So like that. So then, not only physically but also emotionally. Emotionally, once you are renounced, then most important thing, your heart has to be renounced in the busyness, busyness in the household-like life as a sangha. So has to be very peaceful state of your being, physically, verbally, and mentally. Have to be very peaceful. A sense of detached. Of course, there may be a lot of doings, for the benefit of sentient being, with the clear motivation of altruism. Then, that's one thing. That's one thing. But even in that sense, our heart still have to have the full mindfulness of ordained sangha, ordained monks and nuns. And even though outwardly that you may see, you may live like quite similar outwardly in order to in order to survive, especially those sanghas who don't live in a monastery environment, who have to live by themselves. Then there are a lot of things that they need to take care to sustain this precious human life with the sangha life, such as shelter, such as food, and also need to take care of the neighbors, the environment, to make sure that you are at peace with them. Then planting, like vegetables and foods, etc. There are a lot of things that you may need to do. Unlikely then you live in the monastic environment where there are assigned individuals who will do all this job, and you as a monk or nun is only to be focused on study, practice, meditation, like that, and observation of the vow. So in such individual cases, then our heart, physically we have no choice, we have to engage, but then our heart has to be very, very clear that there's a sense of detachment. You are doing simply to sustain this precious human rebirth, in particularly most precious human rebirth, with this precious vow of the the Vinaya precepts. So that way, then those subtle transgressions, you can able to overcome. So otherwise, without knowingly, there's a danger of transgressing our vows, and those such transgressions, unknowingly become obstruction and obstacle to the development of our realization on the path. So that's the main point. Whether people accept or not is not a matter. Whether you like or not is not a matter. Here the matter is about making sure that nothing become obstacle to gaining realization on the path, because observation of the Vinaya vow is for us to consecrate our being in the most pure way, so that whatever practice that we do is a greater opportunity, because of the pure vow, greater opportunity to actualize sweep realization on the stages of the path. So because of that. Then verse 48. Then householder, you remain infinite chores. And if you disregard all the ethical injunction, you should certainly be cursed by the wise sages. So if that individual, or monks or nuns breaches the Vinaya vows, then they are responsible, the wise sages, they are responsible teachers, in particularly the abbot who ordained them, the abbot, the Vinaya abbot who did the ordination for them. It is their responsibility to look after, their ordained sangha. And if the ordained sangha breaches any of these vows, then the teacher should point out those mistakes, and teacher should correct them, and teacher should help to guide with a clear path, and to assist to your ordained monks and nuns, to actualize safer environment. So usually when any monks or nuns, one of the Vinaya regulation is that whoever ordain you, that ordaining, the Vinaya abbot has the responsibility to take care of you. Take care of you to protect your vows. So if you don't have that capability, then it's wiser not to accept to ordain them, because once you ordain, then you breaches the vow. Is very, very heavy karma. Is a very heavy karma. The karma of disrobing is far more greater karma than not taking the vow at all. So when you take the vow, the benefit is infinite, but then when you break, it's also intense, karma. So therefore, whoever ordain individual monk or nun, that ordaining the master need to have a confidence to take care of their monks and nuns. So from the very first day, to able to guide them to live in the secure environment, secure places where they can able to practice the vow purely, without obstacle. Then so their needs, their needs like food, shelter, education, and the Vinaya vow, the monks and nuns vows are lifelong vows, lifelong. Not just try it out. The monks and nuns vows are not to try it out whether I can do or not. No, cannot. Once you decided to take it, you have to observe the vow until to the last breath. Entire life is a lifelong precepts. Otherwise, a heavy karma. So if you are not confident, then you shouldn't take the vow. The consequences is a very, very heavy karma. So and also sometimes some individuals due to different reasons, some are some are even worldly reasons, because of they go through a very tough lay life, tough marriage life, tough childhood, or they just fed up with jobs, lay responsibility, and they want to renounce. They want to get away from that. Then they request the masters to grant them a vow. Of course, at that stage you can see the sincerity. You can see they truly want to become sangha, but that individual may not have the genuine understanding why they are becoming monks and nuns. May not have the definite understanding why they want to renounce lay life and why they want to become sangha, because of the very drastic the influence of day-to-day life. That's why they become sangha. Then later, after you become monk and nun, also you still go through hardship, like hardship in study, hardship to live under the control of the Vinaya vow, live under the control of the monastic rules, have a hardship of and have a hardship of cannot wear fashionable clothes, always have to wear the same color, same thing, for whole your life. Cannot have a fashionable hairstyle, you see. Then cannot enjoy beer, cannot enjoy wine, cannot enjoy husband, cannot enjoy wife, etc., etc. So if you didn't understand the real reason why you become Sangha, after become Sangha, life can be in many cases, life can be harder than lay life. If you don't understand, the exact purpose, exact benefit, exact meaning, exact reason of renunciation, exact reasons of ordination, exact benefit of the vows, then monks and nuns' life can be even harder than a lay people's life. You see, it's not easy. It's not easy to live under 24 hours of order by the monastery rules. The moment you wake up until what time you go to bed. Even the time to wake up, what time to eat, what time to sleep. What time to talk, what time not to talk. What to wear, what not to wear. Every single detail will be monitored almost from 10 directions, almost by everybody. As a new monks and nuns, all the senior monks supposed to watch over the new monks and nuns, watch over in the good sense, to make sure that they behave properly, they wear properly, they study properly, they don't breach any of the vows, etc. So if you don't have a clear understanding, you feel pressure, because in the lay life, especially in the West, it's your life. It's like you are your boss, isn't it? You are your boss. You can eat anything you like. You can go anywhere you like to go. You can be with anybody you want to be. You can eat anything you want to eat. I mean, everything is your own. Many don't even listen to their parent, isn't it? And eventually we come to a position that parent goes in their own way. You have to go in your own way of life, isn't it? That's many people call as a freedom. No one can tell you anything. That you have to be. You need to have the space that you can do anything you like. You can think anything you like to think. You can say anything you like to say. And you can behave anything you like to behave. That's many people regard as a freedom, isn't it? So if you become monks and nuns, there's no such thing. If you become, especially if you remain in the monastic institutions, as I mentioned earlier, there's two vows to follow: the Vinaya vows and the precept or the monastic vows, or the monastic precepts, which are called the monastery rules. And in the Vinaya teaching, is emphasized very clearly, karmically, whichever monastery that you enter, you have to regard as equal important as the monastic discipline, as equal important as a Vinaya, Vinaya precepts. That much seriousness. It is, Buddha says. You see. So therefore, the Sangha life is not easy. But once you become Sangha, if you know all the mentioned reasoning, if you are clear about that, then when you become Sangha, that's the true freedom. That's the true liberation. True liberation. You see, liberation from conventional, ordinary life. Absolutely. You see, and you will feel like you're really in a pure realm, you really feel the life, every single moment is the most beautiful life, most beneficial life, worth, living, you see. It's almost like there's no room for depression because you have the vow and you feel so meaningful because you know the meaning, the benefit of the Vinaya vows, you see. Then, the environment, you see, all the senior sanghas, then of course the teachers, even though everyone is eyeing on you, everyone is, guiding you, telling you what to do, telling you not to do, what not to do, everything you feel blessing, everything you feel, wow, everyone caring for you, not like everyone, taking your freedom away, everyone, ruling you, you will feel everyone love you, everyone caring you, everyone protecting you, everyone guiding you, and you see each and every one of them such attractive spiritual friends, virtuous friends, you see. Then that's called Sangha community, you see. You feel so amazingly fortunate to be looked after by each and every one of the other sanghas, to be among each and every one of the other sanghas, you feel so fortunate that you are in such a protected environment, like a monastery, like a sangha environment. Every single discipline and rule, you feel like a protection from all the fears, protection from all the harms, protection from sufferings, you see, protection from samsara, protection from lower realms, so that those are the meaning, you see. So you understand, you feel so protected, you see. Then, you see, then because of your renounce, it's nothing to attach, nothing to grasp, you see. Like, you can just move to anywhere, you can live anytime, you see, if it's beneficial, you see. And suddenly you decided to go into cave, you're nothing to worry about your empire, your children, your wife, your husband, you see. You can just, as long as you are moving for your greater practice, it's like such an easy decision, So even the the karmically, the life coming to end and the death comes in your way, nothing to grasp, so easy to depart to the next journey, you see. So you need to be in that kind of position, like that, you see. So like that. Mm. Mm. So when the sanghas, if there's any transgressions of the vows happening, then it's a teacher's responsibility to the teacher. First of all, teacher always have to look after them, whether they are physically with them or from far away, always watch over them. Then the teachers, start with the abbot, the ordination abbot, if he's still alive. If not, then their monastery institutions, their seniors, their successors, it's a lifelong. As long as that sangha live, um, um, that Vinaya Guru and the chain of their mandala beings, always have to find a way to inspire your ordained sangha to preserve the pure vow and continue to practice. And if there's any transgression, any faults, any wrongdoings, then immediately have to come and be very straightforward, directly have to correct, so like that, So if we're unable to do that, then accepting to ordain someone is not a simple thing, not an easy thing. So therefore, if anyone want to become monk or nun, you have to be very clear about that. You have to be ready about that. After becoming a monk and nun, then you don't want to listen to anybody. You don't want to, follow the monastery rules. You don't want to follow the Vinaya rules. You don't want to follow what your Vinaya guru have guide you. Then then it's a big problem. Then rather you shouldn't first place, shouldn't get the vow like that. Then another most important thing is, even course of one's life, the vow you need to treasure and observe, until to the last breath. You see, so that's very, very important, because in today's time, the preparation is not so good. Then so easy to become monk and nun, and so easy to disrobe. So easy to give up the monastery vow. So that is very, 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 very serious, and it really contaminate the environment, especially the spiritual environment. You see, so you have to be very, very serious. It's your choice whether you want whether become monk or nun. It's your individual choice. But once you become, you really, really, really have to be serious. Like that. So he's talking about that. So verse 48. Though clad in the monk's robes, you do not observe the precept. Your senses remain immersed in the diverse act of lustfulness, and you criticize and denigrate the noble ones. You should be expelled by the dakinis of the life, dakinis to the life beyond. So it's similar to verse 47, the earlier verse. Again, it's concerning of this the Odin Sangha. So though clad in the monk's robe, those even though you wear monk's robe, but then you do not observe the precept. You only wear the monk's robe, but inside you don't observe. You don't have the recognition of you as a monk or nun, and you don't hold the precepts. More important than your life. Guarding them. Then your senses. By not guarding, your senses let it immerse with the diverse acts of lustfulness, express desire, or then in particularly to transgress the one of the four root vows of disrobings, which is talking about the lustfulness. Your sense remain immense. Your heart always remain with a lot of desire. Desire not necessarily only to the person, but desire about your identity, desire about your position, desire about material things. So once you become monk and nun, then really one of the greatest sense of renunciation is there's how to say, other than virtue, there's nothing to be wanted. Nothing to be wanted. Especially in the material things. Nothing to be like kind of grass. Like to create richness. Empire, etc. You see. So really need to have a peaceful mind, free from desire. You see, free from desirous grasping. But then you wear the robe, but your heart filled with the lustfulness, and then not only that, your speech always look for faults of others and criticize. Always give negative remarks about others. Then you denigrate. You denigrate the Buddha, the gurus, the senior sanghas. You see. So once you are, if you are truly monk or nun, then you never talk bad thing about Buddha. You never talk bad thing about the gurus. You never talk bad thing about even your fellow monks and nuns. Fellow monks and nuns, you cannot. You see, it doesn't matter whether from same monastery or not. All are Buddha's monks and nuns. You see, so you cannot talk bad thing about others. You see, bad thing about other sanghas. You see, so that's one of very, very important. You see, so if once you are true monk and nun, If you are really observing the true precept of monk and nun, then your speech have to be very, very careful. If you have nothing to talk good thing about others, and you cannot talk bad thing about others, you see. But then in our ordinary world, you may say, oh, I have no freedom of speech, you see. So if you happen to think like that, say like that, you didn't understand the main reason why you become Sangha. Main meaning of what do you mean by renunciation, you see, as I mentioned elaborately, the verse before, you see. So once you become Sangha, you really need to, sometimes give an example, they say like cross to your mouth. you know or in the monastery, our teachers sometimes when as a young monk, then you play with your peers, and sometimes you disagree, then you start to exaggerate their faults, and you report to your teacher, say, oh, this one very bad, he do this, you do. So sometimes our teacher immediately say, I think I should sew your lips with a nylon string, better to sew, meaning you cannot talk bad thing about your friend. You cannot talk bad thing about your fellow monks and fellow sanghas, so you see, the teachers used to say like that. One time, at that time, maybe around 11, 12 years old, one of our memorization teacher, but actually he's a captain. He is a captain, but he's a very nasty captain, very, very nasty captain. So I think I shared this story before, but maybe a bit different way. We were memorizing 21 Tara precepts. So for him, you have to memorize. It says like a very smooth running river, running flow. So the memorization, you cannot have a kind of pause. It had to be perfect. So you see, so even while reciting, if you swallow saliva, you pause, isn't it? So he regard that you are not perfected in the memorization. So sometimes we get beating. So I got a very, 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 not only me, many, but I got a very bad beating. So behind, a lot of mark, belt mark. So I was staying with my late guru, staying in the same room with Geshe Lama Konchok. So usually I sleep like that. Usually I sleep like that, and so but now I cannot sleep like that because the whole back is so painful. So painful. Then maybe after 1 or 2 days, maybe 2 days, then Geshela noticed that I sleep. Suddenly, I change my sleep pattern. So he's suspicious something. So after but I'm not there to tell him. Because I usually know. Usually I know that if I complain of anything, especially to do with someone else, he will immediately he will even use this example, say, I think I should sew your lips with a nylon, so that you won't speak bad thing about others, faults of others. So I kind of knew that he will scold me rather than help me to go and fight with the captain. Why you beaten my student, isn't it? So he said, what happened? He said nothing. Then after that, then he said, no, something happened. He show me. So he saw. It's already 1-2 days later. So he saw it's a very badly beaten. So then I cry and say, oh, this captain. Even though I know how to chant, well, I also give exam to you. I mean, I already present to you. I know, I chant, but he still beat me. Like that. Then so of course I say, he's very bad. I think he have a cunning thinking about me. Then Geshe-la immediately said, no. You see, you cannot think like that. You cannot talk like that. You see. It's a great purification that you go through, great purification. Instead of feel angry about him, rather, should be thankful to him, It's a lot of purification, you went through a lot of purification. Now you regard no more purification, your life will be smooth, your life will be okay, So don't worry. So didn't let me talk even a slight false about this person, you see. So I'm just giving example. So it happens in a monastery like that. The teachers would guide you like that, you see. So in another way, one of very important here is, and you criticize, you see. So you not only to the, we think, we cannot criticize Guru, we cannot criticize Buddha, but we can criticize our peers. We can criticize other monastery sanghas, So as a sangha, no, one of very, when you talk about sangha precepts, you need to take care of all our body, speech, and mind, not just our mind, our physical actions, our verbal speech, everything. We have to be, disciplined. Yeah. Then also, of course, we cannot, disregard and look down and abuse, other sanghas, and no question about gurus and Buddhas. So if such thing happen, then you should be expelled by dakinis to the life beyond. This is just expression of how heavy it is, how heavy karma it is, that the karmic transgression is so heavy that may even cause a life, like that kind of thing. In another way, in another understanding, then the Dharma protectors, like as I mentioned in the last class, like in the monasteries, all have a Dharma protectors. So if you behave like that, then the Dharma protectors will come after you. Dharma protectors will give a sign in many drastic ways, for you to free from these negative doings, you see. So yeah. Then not necessarily just the monastic, dhammapalas. Most of the sangha, like most of the sangha, we have initiations, isn't it? We have taken initiations like Kala Chakra, and then many Jenangs, etc. Then we are always looked after by Daka Dakinis, which are the also Dharma protectors. You see, so if our heart remain impure, we disregard our vows, then we keep ill will in our heart, among others, among Buddha, ill will to the Buddha, gurus, and other sanghas. Then these Dharma protectors will discipline you. Will punish you. You see, so therefore it's a very serious thing. So we really have to be careful. If in case unintentionally, or just because of in a joking way, relaxed way, happen to say wrong thing, then immediately, without delaying, we have to purify. Especially as a sangha, that we have to take it so serious that immediately, if we have think wrong thing about others, say wrong thing about others, did wrong thing about others, or immediately should purify them. You see, so purify accordingly. If it's in relation to to different vows, there's a way to purify, isn't it? If it's a monastic vow, then we need to purify through Lojong, through confession ceremonies. If there's no opportunity for confession ceremonies, then at least try to purify through consultation with the senior sanghas, senior sanghas, the abbots, discipliners, omjes, teachers there, or at least if you are only with the 2 person, or then you confess with with the other sangha. Most of the the Vinaya and monastery vows has to be purified in a community level. If there's no community of four fully ordained sangha, then you purify with your peers, with your friend, with your sangha friend. You cannot purify by mentioning to lay person. You're not supposed to mention to lay person. The sangha problem cannot mention to lay person. Vinaya problem, monastery problem, you cannot solve by the lay people, lay community. You cannot mention to lay people to solve. It has to be solved within the sangha. You see, so the Vinaya precepts, you can purify by revealing, mentioning to your friend. Then then you make a new commitment to observe the vow purely. At least we have to do like that. Then if it's relation to Buddhist vows, then you purify in relation to your guru, in relation to your deities, in relation to Buddhas, in relation to Bodhisattvas, if in person, best if not, at least through your visualized objects or through holy objects like altar, etc. So then tantric vows, and you need to purify in relation to your Vajra spiritual gurus, or purify through self-initiation, taking initiations, etc. So you see, so whatever transgression of any precepts, we have to take it very serious about it, and you cannot delay. The moment you cannot delay. Otherwise, the negative impact will be increased. You see, so you have to purify immediately. If the first thing that we can do is through four opponent power. It's in your control. At least you purify those negativity by increasing it is multiplication of the impact. So at least through four opponent power, you purify right away. Yeah, you see, and that you can do anywhere. You see, so even while driving, you thought of any negative thought, immediately you think of the four opponent power, recite the Vajra mantra, you can purify that. You see, or even while in your conversation, suddenly you know that you break some samaya in relation to your body, speech, and mind, then quickly. Right after that, you try to purify them. Yeah, so otherwise it become an obstacle, to our spiritual development, and also, life start to experience quite a drastic obstacles. You can also say karma ripen. You can also say Dagatakinis are punishing you, in order for you to wake up from those negativities. Whatever it may be. It is not good, so have to purify immediately. One of the very important homework as a spiritual practitioner, in particularly sanghas, in particular those who have initiations, those who have to, even taking the 5 lay vows, Buddha vows, one of the privilege, or one of the very important, one of the most beneficial thing is always, live in the practice of purification, because sometimes unintentionally, unknowingly, we do commit, negative doings, you see, and unknowingly, the negative increase, you see. So you purify, knowing or unknowing, or intentionally or unintentionally perform as long as is there any negativities, I purify, So all the time, do purification practice, one of very, very important, Otherwise, how much we study, so difficult to gain realization. How much we practice, so difficult to gain realization. How many precious gurus comes in our way, bless us, teach us, so difficult to gain realization, so difficult to subdue our mind, still so wild, so easy to get disturbed. All these are flaws, and very much the negativities that we break the samayas, negativities from the past or through our body, speech, and mind. These are the one that is hindering us. These are the one obstructing us. You see. So when our being is pure, then just reading a line, you start to impact to your realization. Just contemplating a little bit also impact to your realization. Just meditating a while already impact to your realization. You see. So every practice very easily, will benefit, impact to your realizations. You see, then you can see the internal transformation changes. You see, you become a very, very kind of well equipped with the practice or the transformation tools. You see, so nothing can harm you, nothing can disturb you. You see, even death cannot disturb you. Okay, verse 49. For the sake of material gain, you assume the guise of the noble one. Like dog and pig, you indulge in the lustful act, deceiving all with the claim that this is tantra. You should be burned in the head by Vajra holder. So, so this one is a so misuse of the Dharma, false claims of the Dharma, take for granted and misinterpretation of the Dharma. Then misuse, misinterpretation, misclaim of the tantric practices in particularly. So for the sake of material gain, you assume the guise of the noble one. So guise of the noble one, the teachings and the names, of the gurus, of the Buddhas, of the past. If you misuse for your material gain, for your edwardly concern, then you behave like a dog and pig, indulge in a lustful act, in the use of the spiritual name, use of the Dharma, use of the your gurus, use of your spiritual position, you see, but then you act like a dog and pig, indulge in a lustful act. Then deceiving all with the claim that this is tantra, deceiving others in the name of the tantric positions, like tantric Vajra gurus positions, or deceiving disciples and deceiving others in the name of say tantra, in the name of tantra. Deceiving material gain, say that, oh, this is very powerful mantra, powerful this and that, so if you pay me this much, then if I give you this mantra, then you will be overcome all the obstacle, you will actualize enlightenment, you will actualize wealth, etc. So these are deceiving, or in the name of tantra, you see, it's like in the tantric deity, like a father-mother union, then you deceive the disciple to have a sexual misconducts, sexual conducts, as as a ordained sangha, sexual misconduct, as a lay practitioner, whether they are sangha or whether they are lay practitioner, indulging in sexual misconducts in the name of tantra, or in the tantra, then utilizations of drops, utilizations of daka dakinis, etc., etc. Such falls happen in the past, even in Tibet. Such falls, happen in the West, in the East, happening now. So this is something that have to be very careful. You see, so deceive with all the claim that this is tantra. It's a tantra pure view. Pure view. So then you behave disgracefully. You behave immorally. It's in the name of tantra. Then you disregard others' culture. Disregard karmic law, cause and effect. Disregard that region's laws. In the name of tantra, it's a pure view. So I can behave anything I like. I can do anything. So you say this is a pure view because this is tantra. So all these are lustful, indulging in lustful, like a dog and pig, like that. So so this kind of behavior, anybody behaving that way, whether lamas, whether gurus, whether teachers, whether disciples, yogics, individuals, whoever they may be, whatever form they come, whatever name they come, as long as they behave like that, then you should be burned in the hati by vajra holder. So it means you need to be, you need to bring into accountability by your vajra holder, your vajra guru. Those. So the conventional vajra guru is the person from whom that from whom you learn the tantra, from whom you receive the initiation. To whom that you follow as a vajra guru, should come and discipline them. So ultimately it is understanding that the what you call the deity protectors, so individual deities or protectors, so they will come and discipline you. They will come and punish you. You see, because it's such a heavy transgression or heavy karma. You see, so then karmically, such kind of karmic consequences, you experience the suffering in the vajra hell. You see, because so you experience suffering in the vajra hell. So any kind of misuse of dharma, in particular misuse of tantra, then misuse of tantra in a delusional way, in the worldly way, then the ripening karma, that experience in the lowest, the heaviest hell realm is called vajra hell, like that. You see, so it's a very, very heavy, heavy karma. So you should be burned in the heart, but hurt by the vajra holder. So you can understand the heaviness of karma that the karma will experience in the vajra hell. Or in another way, that the samaya vajra will really how to say, will punish you, or will cleanse you, or will kind of destroy you, if do such kind of heavy karma. So it's talking about that. Then verse 50, in the pretend of Mahayana, you defer karma and its effect. In the boast of emptiness, you deceive assembly of students. like the demonic ghosts you inhabit secret images. You should be slain with the incantations by those pure in oath. So this one is undermining the karmic law cause and effect in the name of altruistic dharma or altruistic motivation. In the precept of Mahayana, you defy karma and its effect. Is meaning that that I have a pure motivation, altruistic motivation, so I don't have to care about my physical action and verbal action. You see, so these are mistakes. You see, you see, as long as my motivation is pure, then I can behave physically, verbally, anything I like. I mean, anything, anything that which is even it is not according with the dharma, not according with virtue, is okay. It doesn't harm, it doesn't create any negative karma because I have a bodhicitta motivation. You see, so this is a mistake, and this is very danger to we like Mahayanic practitioner. Say, oh, as long as you have a pure motive, because we always teach how powerful the altruistic motivation is. And we hardly touched this particular line of the teaching, but we only talk about how powerful the pure motivation is, altruistic motivation is. So if this teaching is not clarified, then if this teaching is not introduced, then we may think that as long as we have a pure motivation, then we don't have to observe any verbal and physical virtuous ethics, virtual karma. It's not like you see. So this is something like that. So therefore, the more that you carry altruistic motivation, the more that you are Mahayanic practitioner, the more the intense, the more the greater practice of karmic law, cause and effect has to happen. You see, so the practice of Mahayana, Maha here is talking about the perfected virtue, perfected virtuous karma, observation of perfected virtuous karma, which is observation of the bodhicitta, or observation of the bodhisattva's conduct. You see, so therefore, the practice of the intensity in karmic law, cause and effect is even greater important. And then similar goes to tantra. When you practice tantra, the karmic law, cause and effect has to be even more extended, more intense, like that. So then second line, misuse or false claim on emptiness realizations. In the booth of emptiness, you deceive the assembly of students. So this is something that again have to be careful. For such as like for material gain, then you claim that you are you realize emptiness directly. You are Arya being. You see, you are Arya being. Then to deceive the assembly of students, to frustrate you, bow to you, they make offering to you, in particularly in the wrong intention of gaining material gains, etc. You see, the reason is when you claim that you have a direct realization of emptiness, means you are Arya being. So when you are Arya being means you are object of refuge. You see, so your object of refuge. You see, so when you are object of refuge means refuge means others' reliance on, others' complete trust on you. You see, so in the claim of that I have realized emptiness directly, then let your student to relate to you in that way. Then there lies their trust on you. There lies their refuge on you. You see, so in that way, then if you are not truthfully realize emptiness, then there's a danger of deceiving the disciple. There's a danger lies. You see, but when you really realize emptiness directly, you realize selflessness. You see, You have no self-grasping, you see. So when you don't have self-grasping, you are absolutely object of refuge. You're absolutely most trustworthy, Then, you completely, submit your life, your body, spirit, and mind to such person who never will harm you, never deceive you, you see. But because of knowing this characteristic of Arya being, characteristic of the power emptiness, then those false teachers, false individuals, for selfish intention, then they boost of the emptiness, and you deceive the assembly of students. It happens, you see, like that. So then the third line, like a demon, goes, you inhabit secret image. So if you indulge in the faults of the earlier two lines, either in bodhicitta, either in emptiness, then you are like demonic ghosts, the inhabit, secret image. Is like that, you see. So that kind of people, you should be slain with the incantation by those pure in earth, Mm. Mm. So that kind of people, you have to stay away. That kind of people, you have to stay away. Also, incarnation by those pure in earth, like such as gurus, such as dharma protectors, then like such as the like a tantric, practice of the four activities, like pacification, increasing, controlling, then lawful activities. You must subdue, this kind of negative beings in order not to bring harm to themselves and harm to the beings, harm to the students and harm to the others. Then verse 51, since they bring no benefit to the Buddha's teaching as a whole, those proudly peddle as a tantra or profound pit instruction and evil verses strung together through conceptual fabrication, they should be denigrated as a trivial by the sublime one. So this one is talking about the validity of the teachings, and it is teachings, and it is materials. So since they bring, any kind of teachings, or any kind of teachings, in particularly, the tantric teachings, or so-called the pit instructions, which are solely with the worldly concern, peddling, revealing or instructing or teaching or propagating in the name of like secret tantra mantra, in the name of profound secret pit instructions, and those scriptures, those teachings and words, those teachings and advice, those verses, the compositions that string together through conceptual fabrications, which are not accordance with the Dharma, your own false, your own conceptual fabrication, your own exaggeration, your own magnification in accordance with your worldly concern, your selfish concern, your selfish intent, your lustful intent. Then such kind of teachings, books, verses, instructions, advice, they do not bring benefit overall to the Buddha Dharma teaching, as well as it is harmful to the receivers, then those materials, those teachings, those instructions, they should be denigrated as a trouble by the sublime ones. They should be disapproved. Uh, as a not beneficial, insignificant, not valid teaching, by the great learned ones, like great scholars, great learned ones. Like in the past, like in the Nalanda University, in the past, during the time of like Nagarjuna, Atisha, Dharmakirti, Chandakirti, etc. During that time, um, individual scholar, whenever they do any composition or when they do any teaching, they have to go through a great checking, great observations to validate those teachings, to making sure that those are valid teaching in accordance with the Buddha's, the omniscient one's intent, and those teachings that which does not contain any, self-centered intent, which will, mislead, obstruct the spiritual pursuit of anyone that who come in contact with these scriptures, those instructions, those teachers, etc. So, so after observation, after like committee come together, they validate them, and if they see any mistakes, if they see any invalid instructions or verses, any insignificant verses, teachings, scriptures, or any harmful verses, teachings, etc., then they will wrap those conversation and tie on the tail of a dog to scatter around, showing, to shaming those disqualified or wrong propagandas of those unqualified scholars and the teachers. So whatever the scripture that validated one, whatever scripture that every great scholars, those who really the supreme scholars, when they find the validness of the scripture, then only they treasure it, they put it into library, they use as a text, they publish like that, you see. So therefore, you see, like such as a Kanjur, Tenjur, such as all these, like Lojong teachings, Lojong texts, such as Lamrim, and such as of those, all the compositions of the great Nalanda Pandits, in particularly of those of the 17 Pandits, like compositions, all those are not like someone simply composed and used as a textbooks, shared in the public. Those publications, those teachings went through a thorough investigations and validity, and with 100% correctness of those teachings, in the benefit to people who learn, so then bring into production, which preserve up to today. So therefore, for us, to be able to study these scriptures are extremely fortunate, and also it is a very safe, safe to study them, you see. And also whenever we study from many different today's time scholars, reading many different kind of like commentaries, and always should have a habit of referring to the root text, which composed by, which directly taught by Buddha himself, or like many of those teachings of the Kangyur. Then the teachings of the Indian, the Nalanda Pandits, and teachings of the great Gautama masters. Always try to read together, learn together. So then whatever the teacher teach, you can reconfirm with those valid teachings. Then if anything is coming together, makes sense, it's good. If anything contradict, discard. You see, in particularly in relation to tantric teachings. You see, tantric teachings. So nowadays the tantric teachings, the teacher also teach very easily. That the student also read easily, listen easily. In fact, it's not as simple as that. You need to be fully matured in the preparation. Like such as a common path. After many years of study of the Lamrim, like sutric aspect of the path, then only you learn about tantra. Then become very, then even you meet a false teacher, that you cannot go wrong, because you know where the faults are coming from. You see, or then even when you meet a correct teacher, if you are correct disciple, ripened disciple, then qualified teacher, Vajra teacher, and qualified Vajra student come together, then that's how the possibility of one very lifetime enlightenment, enlightenment on that very cushion is possible. You see, otherwise, just a name, say Tantra is sweet path. Sometimes we don't encounter qualified teacher. Sometimes we don't encounter ourselves. Sometimes ourselves, for most cases, ourselves is not ready. You see, then bring a lot of problem. Instead of benefit, a lot of issues. You see, like that. Then the second verse also similar. If an instruction definitely harms the Buddha's teaching as a whole, even though it may bring some benefit to a few at certain time, like a rice beer for someone suffering from a severe fever, this is detrimental to help that deserve to be thrown into water. Now, so this is similar as I mentioned before. So if any instruction generally is contradict with the Buddha's whole teaching, you see, let's say specific instruction of a guru, or specific instructions from the tantric teaching, it may be helpful to you, but then generally is contradicting to the main Buddha Dharma principle. Especially tantric teaching being a Mahayanic Dharma, if it's contradict to the Bodhisattva principle, it contradict to the wisdom of emptiness, it's contradict to the renunciation, at least it is contradicting to the three principal aspect of the path, then you should be discarded. You shouldn't follow that. You shouldn't practice that, because generally it's harmful. Even though you feel, maybe the feel of helpful to you, maybe could be your inspiration, your emotional kind of inspiration, emotional kind of attachment. You feel like it is so wonderful, like space out, but generally it's harmful. Like many of the drug, people think that it's so helpful, so pacifying, but generally it's harmful to entire your health. That's why the drug is bad. Like cocaine, all this had to be discarded. But people who taste the drug, they feel good at the immediate state. But there's a temporary pleasing, but it's generally harmful. That's why you have to discard, isn't it? Similar way. So even though it may bring some benefit, for certain people, for a certain time, like a rice beer. So give an example, rice beer, in the Himalayas or in a remote area, people who are scientifically, may not know what are helpful for certain sicknesses. So someone get a fever, then if heavy fever, then you have no medicine, so you feed the rice beer. By feeding rice beer, it being numbness because of drunk, you feel like kind of subside the severeness of the pain. But generally, the alcohol harms the fever. So that's why cannot consume alcohol, even though it is subsiding, it's pleasing at the beginning, but generally it will destroy you. That's why you have to discard. Similar way. So this similar way, any form of instruction that comes in your way, you have to examine with a common path. Even though it may say it is a pit instruction of guru, or it's a pit instruction of my composition, whatever. Or it may say it is a very powerful tantric empowerment or powerful tantric instruction. So you as a disciple, you have to first harmonize with the common path. Even though you feel, wow, it's a pin instruction that receiving to me, wow, it is such a profound secret tantra that only granting to me, you feel so great, isn't it? And it may be helpful for your inspiration in some certain time, but then generally it is contradicting to the moral principle of the general Buddha Dharma, then that should be discarded. So this detrimental help that deserve to be thrown into water means discarded. Okay. So verse 53, when dangerous mystic who possess little learning see common vision, they acquire arrogance of the attaining supreme fit. Those who lead the foolish with no graduated stages of the path should be brought to the level of dog by the learned one. So this is similar to the verse 51 that I mentioned, verse 51 and 52, similar like that. So this one is a very specifically focusing about the qualification of Vajra master in particularly, qualification of Vajra master or the Vajra guru, like initiation guru, tantric guru, the guru who grant you the vows, guru who grant you the initiations, etc. So when dangerous mystic who possess little learning, so here dangerous mystic, especially referring to the tantric masters, why called dangerous? Because of who possess a very little learning. What are you talking about? Possessing little learning? Possessing little learning of the general teaching, like general teachings of the three principal aspect path, general teachings of the like 5 paths and 10 grounds, general teachings of the 3 higher trainings, 3 basket of the teachings, or in other words, general teachings of the like 5 great treatises, the summary teachings of the 84,000 teachings, the Kanjur Tenjur. You see, so who just because of know how to perform some rituals but never study proper dharma knowledge, or who regard that got never study properly of the general teaching, general path, but then just getting some direct instructions from like the gurus to disciple, then who come into your life as a spiritual guru, then it's it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous. You see, dangerous mystic who possess little learning, see common vision, they acquire arrogance of attaining supreme feats. Most of such mystic teachers may carry arrogance of false claim of like attaining supreme feats. Like they are like such, they are like a different kind of like supreme feats, like clairvoyance, like claiming that we have a clairvoyance, like claiming that we have, claiming that I have this is a secret kind of blessing that which no one has, so that if I pass down to you, you will be right there without needing to do anything. You will be purified, you will be enlightened, as we all know, it's not as simple as that, isn't it? We have to work hard by ourselves, isn't it? A lot of purification involved, a lot of accumulation, of merit involved. Referring to all the past Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they work hard for 3 countless eons of time and accumulate 3 countless eons of merit and purify, the beginningless lifetimes past negative karma, working in the virtuous path for 3 countless times of eons, then only get enlightened. How possible just by giving you some pit instruction, then you purified and enlightened? It's not possible, isn't it? It's common sense understood, isn't it? Just by initiating you right there, you purify, you enlighten. If that's so easy, then Buddha will no need to go through this complicated philosophies, complicated 84,000 teaching. He can just sit there and initiate and give a pit instruction will be enough, isn't it? So it's not. Then, like, also there may be claim of like such, there's a common 6 kind of supreme feats that such kind of dangerous mystics may claim. The one of the supreme feats, the divine eyes, the divine hearing, ability to see your and those beings, equal to or lower than yours, past lifetimes karma, past lifetimes events. Ability to see, your and others, their future lives, what will happen, what kind of karmic lives, I had for future, that kind of claims. Then ability to read the mind of others, like a clairvoyance, Then in some cases may even claim that I have an omniscient mind, the knowledge of liberation from all defilements. And say I'm a Buddha, say I am a Buddha, I possess this and that. So therefore, if you listen to me, if you receive this, you will be purified right away, you will enlightened, So there are many, such kind of mystics, people, even in Tibet, Himalayas, and especially in Southeast Asia, even in the West, even in the scientific world, in the educated world, still people just how to say, conned by this kind of people, you see. So this teachings is very, 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 very practical, for everybody have to be careful, you see. Because Tarat explanation of Buddha's entire teaching is very rare, because it is difficult, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of efforts from the teacher, a lot of efforts from the student, so people like don't pay attention to like learning long time, don't pay attention, don't give effort, don't give time to really to learn thoroughly, like always seeking for a quick enlightenment, quick liberation, quick blessing, So in actual reality, there's no quick blessing, there's no quick liberation, there's no quick purification, you see. So so you see, so yeah, and also very rare to find, teachers that who really spend long time, Tarat learning and practice, and then to to guide you is very rare, you see. So then those mysterious like a naughty individual, those mystics, then they take the advantage, they take the advantage and go into society and fool people. It happens, you see. So we are so easy to get fooled because our attraction is, if someone's sitting on a very high throne, then wow, Buddha, we validate, and we ready to listen, we ready to receive even initiations, etc. If it's a very famous, a lot of followers, then we thought, wow, a lot of followers, so I should follow. You see, in today's time, you can see in the internet, you do some wrong thing, then millions of people follow you. If you do some right thing, so hard to get even few likes. If you do a lot of wrong thing, if you are very kind of what do you call, unpredictable and very kind of like a nasty, worldly, mystic. Then so many followers. There you have millions of followers. Like that. But if you do, there are so many people who do so great practice, so learned. Nobody knows. Nobody knows them because there's no advertisement, because they don't do mysterious things, because they don't do, you see. So we are so easy to get fooled because we are so used to, in our ordinary worldly life, we are so used to fool by like that. So that we also use the same kind of habitual behavior even to our spiritual path. Very danger. You see. Yeah. Mhm. I saw there's a someone, like a playing drum, like a puja drum. So there's one very mysterious monk, playing drum with anyhow, like kind of like like a kind of like a mixture of like a hip hop, mixture of rocks and mixture of everything, you know, and so many followers, so many people likes because of wow, like you do something new, you do something like mix, Then there's one other one, just a traditional way, making sure you bang correctly, no one look at it, no one follow. You see, then it's a similar way. Even the teachings, you teach properly, very few people follow you. If you teach properly, if you teach more advanced, more detailed, people have no patience. People have no patience. People like quick. People want quick, quick and Oma Hong Pu. People feel good. Then just say, oh, this is pit instruction. Oma Hong, close the chapter. Wow, so precious, unbelievable. You drill into the to the teaching. People will say, too many words, too many, too stressful, too stressful. You see, like that. So even between like sanghas and the people who live the sangha, people who really like live in a pure vow, wear the this humble robe, people don't get interested. Rather you disrobe, or then you have many girlfriends, you have a very exciting, like a many girlfriend, love life like that. You say, wow, wow, it's amazing. And some more we even say, oh, got so many dakinis, so many dakinis, and then people, wow, so special, like that. But then, pure, humble, very humble cloth, humble look, then how, then no empire, no followers, but full of practice, full of knowledge and, pure vow. Nobody pay attention. So this is our fault. So this is the society's culture, you see. So that's why very hard to gain realization, very hard to gain benefit from Dharma, like that, you see. So it's talking about that. That's why he say, when dangerous mystic who possess little learning see common vision, they acquire arrogance of attaining supreme feats. Those who lead the foolish with no graduate stages of the path, you see. Those who lead the foolish with no graduated stages of path should be brought to the level of dog by the learned one. You see, so when we say learn Lamrim, we say, oh, Lamrim is like very, very, it's kind of ordinary teaching, So Lamrim is the most profound teaching, you see. So, and also, like for listeners, when we start to teach, detailed Lamrim, we get bored. We want something mystic, you see. So that's why these dangerous mystics, who take the advantage to lead the foolish ones, lead the foolish one with no graduate stages of the path. There's no teachings of graduate stages of the path. There's no leading to the graduate stages of the path. You see, so completely, live in fantasy, hallucinational world in the name of spirituality. It's so harmful to your spiritual journey. You see, so these are saying have to be careful. So therefore, if there are such, then you should be brought the level of dog by the learned one. So the learned one, the teachers, the scholars, who really take responsibility to the Dharma, they have to bring accountability of that. Like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he become very, very tough, onto, like people who propagate the teachings, His Holiness is very, very serious about, to making sure that have the proper qualification. Otherwise, His Holiness will directly kind of, tell them what is right or what is wrong, like that. So verse 54, when hostile enemy appear for the Buddha's teaching with the pretension of the excellent in the individual liberation vow, some fail to defend well-uttered insight of the Buddha, such sublime one, that undermine the doctrine are most intriguing, let alone breaking the vows of the, verse 55, let alone breaking the vows of the individual liberation. If you fail to vanish the destroyer of the doctrine, you will depart for the vast realm of the lower migration. Such oath-breaking enemies, obstructive forces, should be sent to their afterlife. So this one is talking about, these two verses is very much, talking about knowing how to weigh the advantage and disadvantage in decision making in the critical situations. Then, in particularly to those who hold the patimoksha vows, like sangha vows. Here, given an example, if there is a great, force of harm, obstacle, or destruction happen to the preservation of Dharma, then for that, you need to defend. But in order to defend that with the monastic Vinaya, Sangha precept, Sangha vows, if you indulge in there, the Sangha vow get transgraded. So in such kind of situation, because protecting the doctrine, like can be scriptures, can be dharma, can be scriptures, can be practices, can be institutions, whatever. It has a greater benefit for the long-term preservation of the Dharma and purity of Dharma. Then that you cannot say that I have this Patimoksha, Vinaya vow, so I cannot be part of defending the obstacle, defending the harm givers. Even it is transgression to the vow, you have to be part of the defender. But then so here meaning is that in the Vinaya vow, in such cases, you can offer the vow back to your preceptor for certain period of time, solely for the that specific situation that is require your participant to protect the greater benefit in relation to Dharma. So then, instead of saying that I have a Vinaya vow and I will not participate, rather you should initiate yourself to, communicate with your Vinaya preceptor, and you offer back the vow for that period. Then once the situation is over, then you can take back the vow again. But these are very, very rare circumstances, very, very rare. It is almost hardly happens, especially in today's developed world. It's hardly, freedom world hardly happens. But there are such situations. I can give an example of this Panchen Lama, the previous Panchen Lama. He was ordained monk. But then when he was imprisoned, captured by the communists, China, then he was forced to disrobe. He was forced to disrobe, forced to marry. You see, so if he didn't agree that, there's a great danger to the remaining the Dharma in the Tibet, because by then His Holiness Dalai Lama is already fled to India. So the only protection during that time, the Buddhist culture in Tibet is Panchen Lama's hand. But he was captured, by the communists. So in order for him to gain some control to preserve the Buddhist culture in Tibet, like such as the monasteries, scriptures, and monks and nuns, etc. So so he let go his vow. Then after that, he pursue a position in the government. So there he have a say and he have a certain power to protect. So like that, like that kind of critical situation. And there are some Tibetan lamas or Tibetan monks and Tibetan nuns, when they knew that they're going to capture into prison, and there, it's quite definite that they're going to be forced to disrobe. Then before they capture, they quickly go to their Vinaya preceptor to return back the vow in order not to get the Patimoksha transgression. They return back the vow. Then they went into prison, and then after when they come out from prison, then they take back the precept. Some lama, even after they flee, or only after they flee to India, then they are in the safe environment, then they retake the vow. But within that period, they didn't transgress the vow. So there are such kind of situations, and there are situations that in the concern of let's say someone's life. Let's say an example, if a let's say the monks, fully ordained monks, that you cannot touch, you cannot like grab, females, they like a the female's body, yeah, lower part, especially, like if you cannot grab. But then if in an example, if say there's a running river and there's one female carried away by a flood river, then you as a fully ordained monk sitting, there, then if you go to save the lady, you have to grab the lady, isn't it? You have to grab the lady. But if you grab the lady, then like grab the lower part of the body, you will transgress some Vinaya precepts, you see. But it's a concern of that person's life, and it is a concern of compassion and bodhicitta. So here, then you cannot say that I have that vow and I shouldn't save the lady. So rather you go and save the lady, and you don't transgress in that kind of situation. You don't transgress the vow. So there are so as I mentioned before, so this particular two verses is talking about you need to have the wisdom to weigh the disadvantage and advantage of the situation. Then you need to do the right thing. It's talking about that. Verse 56, the deluded who are chased by the affliction and the karma are careless of the doctrine and sentient beings as a whole, yet they angrily drive enemy who harm them to their afterlife with incantation. Whether lapse in the morality or not, they are most intriguing. So here has 2 points. The faults and disadvantage of not being mindful in Dharma, and reasons of breaking precepts, vows, and Dharma values. So the ignorant one, who driven by, as long as you are controlled and driven, you are guided by afflictions like anger, attachment, and the karmic force, are careless of the doctrine and sentient being, and you are you are careless about the observation of the Dharma, like such as precepts. Then also you don't have the concern of the well-being of of all sentient being. Then you generate anger, to the enemy. An example, just and discard them and even cost their life. So in that kind of situation, even you use any form of methods, either using the mantras, powerful pujas, or whatever way, it actualizes with the heart of anger or heart of attachment, and it causes harm to others, including the life of others. Then whatever name that you carry, it will harm your precepts, like monastery precepts, as well as the the general precept of the Dharma, general precept of the Dharma. So yeah. Verse 57. In brief, you should relinquish at all time the pursuit of selfish and so abhorrent to conquerors, impressed by the conquerors of all 10 directions. Whatever such deed may be, it worldly or pursue. So in short, whatever we have discussed before, one should always be mindful to renounce anything that is contradict to the Dharma, contradict to the Buddha's teachings, contradict to the precepts that you hold. Starting from precept of 10 virtues. Then anything that you should uphold, that which are taught by Buddha, which are praised by the Buddhas and gurus and bodhisattvas. So in short, whatever, even the slightest form of virtue it may be, is a word to pursue. Even how tiny the negative may be, it should be, purified. It should be avoided. Talking about that, verse 58. O intelligent one, be cognizant of this. Undertake all your practice scrupulously, even at the cost of your life. Renounce anything that contradicts the Dharma. Never harm the collective and do what is beneficial to yourself. So those who really, have a genuine sense of heart to follow Buddha, to follow Buddha's path, to wish to follow Buddha's teaching, then this is important. Undertake all your practice, undertake all your practice with the Dharma principle, and undertake all your practice with much discipline. Undertake all your practice with the Dharma moral standard, and all the practice should be cultivated, not carelessly, not anyhow, not like a daily kind of like just a duty. One should practice attentively and also correctly in accordance with the instruction, like whether to do with the mantra, sadhanas, meditations, learning, everything. So this is the advice is given. Then all the downfalls, transgressions from the precepts, commitments, samayas, that should be renounced and never to let occur, even even the course of your life, renounce anything that contradict to Dharma. Anything, you see, renounce. Never harm a collective, never harm. So the never harm collective here, you can understand, never harm, never disregard, the whole Buddha's teaching. And another understanding is never harm any living beings, never harm any sentient beings, and do what is beneficial to yourself, like harm no one and benefit yourself. Or in another way of saying never harm the collective is whatever is opposed to the teaching should be rejected, even at the risk of your life. Like that. Then harm no one, benefit yourself. Verse 59. Though the foolish may not see even after passage of time, to the wise these truths are immediately clear and evident. This too is a gateway for the hero's one. So, say ignorant people, do not understand the difference between right and wrong, virtue and non-virtue, beneficial and non-beneficial, things, practices. But to the wise one, those who have a clear, complete intention of Buddha, then all the teachings will be very clear and evident. It makes sense to yourself. So this is true, is the gateway for the hero's one. So all the teaching that have shared before, it is also a way to to follow the Bodhisattva's path, to actualize the Bodhisattva stage, to eventually to actualize Buddhahood. So this is the chapter of extracting the essence of poison, complete here. Okay, thank you very much. Today I took quite a lot of your time. So we do short dedication. So please dedicate whatever collective merit that we generate through this session, and all the merit individually collected in the past, present, future, and all the merit that accumulated by past, present, future Buddhas, be the complete cause for numberless sentient beings to be free from free from all the sufferings and its causes, and actualize temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness, enlightenment. Also dedicate this collective merit to overcome this pandemic and all the cure be most effective. Also dedicate this collective merit be complete cause. Anyone who died, from this massive natural disaster like fire, earthquake, flood, etc. around the world, and also any being pass away from COVID, and also anyone who pass away through any form of reasons, including those of people who pass away and requested their family member requested prayers from me, from our gurus, from you, and also those of them that whom that they pass away, and we dedicate, like including Poor Serkai, Shang Xiu Sheng, Gradison Shang Shi Xiu, Te Yi Cheng, Chi So Chuan, Lu Yong Kon, for them to purify the hallucinational suffering of death in the middle state and rebirth, and actualize higher rebirth in the Pure Land, and there they actualize state of full enlightenment within that very lifetime. And also dedicate to all the people that anyone that who are going through difficulties like health, businesses, relationship, whatever suffering that people may going through emotionally or physically. May this collective merit be a complete cause for them to overcome, including those of who requested prayers from me, prayers from our gurus, and prayers from you, and people that to whom that they are in need of our prayer support, like Suki, Liu, Song Mei, Albert, and Austin Rhodes, Dawn, Madam Wong, Sancha Kri Chinko, Vika Korna, and Alena Dorzen, Chris Price, Leon Yang Chung, Dr. Lee, Geshe and David, Rachel, Gan Kim Seng, Donna Bat, Judy Wakeford, Wang Sen Hai, may they be free from all the inner outer spiritual obstacles and actualize perfect, meaningful life and actualize all the virtues after full enlightenment. May this quality may be a complete cause for all the leaders of the world and leader institutions and who lead your family and yourself who lead your life. Be free from negative emotions and actualize all the loving kindness, compassion, wisdom, selfless, so that anyone under their leadership can able to enjoy peace and happiness. May this quality may be a complete cause for the virtual institutions around the world, including all the centers and all the monastery nunneries. Including in your prayer room, your library, etc. Be free from inner outer obstacles and actualize all the conditions to preserve the extensive learning as well as realization on the stages of the path. May this collective may be a complete cause all the good people around the world, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, Geshe Lama Supremacy, and all the good people, and yourself, your family members, always enjoy perfect health, long life, and fulfill all your aspirations accordingly. May this quality may be a complete cause. May each and every one of us also able to practice as pure as like Dhammarashita taught us, according with Buddha Dharma, so that our life be most meaningful in our spiritual practice. Our life be most meaningful, beneficial for all sentient beings in virtues. Ourselves and the merit and the purpose we dedicate all lies in the nature of emptiness. Yeah, so please do dedicate. If you have any specific dedication that you want to dedicate, you dedicate now. 장조 셈조는 뭐지 마제 반음 제조지 제와님 밤에 바양 고네 고도 배워죠. 돈이 따와는 뭐지 마제 반음 제조지 제와님 밤에 바양 고네 고도 배워죠. 님 따와를 뭐지 마제 반음 제조지 제와님 밤에 바양 고네 고도 배워죠. 파마 셈제 단제 단데 뉴제 ngero 단제 다도 동하나 자조 셈방나 수주마 대다고 님만란 조주로 이제 셈제네 바제 바녀도 나라 다주주도 맨네 말에 바다도 좀 하면 봐시. 가래라베 고베징한테 ben한테 와말에 주인의 제레서 왔는데 저도 이 잡에서 대봐도 땡겨지 도서 전제 정원 잡에도 지겨베 고소도 버지 저선 거를 내면 들어 나서 되지 건도 잡대죠 잠베 파워지다 좀 받은 건도 삼고 돼야 되지 이제 되다고 이제 달로 야와 대다 담제라 동어도 저베 야와 담제 동어가 건어 주도 뭐 받은 다지 제베 자와 되고 이제 삼보 저제라도 뭐 Tambaji de Gado Joma de Mani Vision, the Zoma de Zabology, the Matambayure, never touch better Zoami Gavation for the Simjera. Samba Church and River Tashi Monday and Sendel in Yambo and the legend in the top of the left. Kunjo Zomye Daji Jo. Okay, thank you very much. Take care. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of each other. See you. Take care.